sorry, let me go 1976.
She's younger than my son. That's your problem. You'd be my middle child. Hi, John. If we get Bill on here, we'll be in, is that Busch Stadium? Yes, Busch Stadium.
Hello.
I didn't know you could do background for those things. And my grandson would change, we zoomed with him Sunday, and the 20-year-old, he would go, he had 12 different backgrounds during the conversation.
I thought about making a SpongeBob background.
Thinking what?
SpongeBob background. They make fun of me because I like SpongeBob. That was a good look. That was, I didn't expect that from Fred, but not necessarily.
Well, no, my family made total fun of me because I'm a huge Frozen fan. I have the CDs in my car.
Do you sing Let It Go all the time?
Oh, the best song though is in one. He's a fixer-upper. That's the best. Hi, Trina.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Hey, not doing too bad.
Good, good, good. Well, our next meeting will be here, Lord willing.
All right.
And so,
Well, and you'll see me in and out. I'm over here at my daughter's. I'm helping her with little granddaughter, and then in a little bit, I'll be driving on my way to Dodge to sign on the house. So I'm going to be moving here and there this morning.
You bet.
So I'm going to try to mute here and there in case little Parker decides to cry.
Yep, I understand.
Multitasking today here.
When grandbaby cries, grandma runs.
Exactly.
I get that. Morning, Vince. Morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, everyone.
Very good. And we get more. There's Kim. Good morning, Kim.
Good morning.
Mr. Harshberger's been there a while. I haven't acknowledged him. Dory, good morning.
Good morning.
You shouldn't still have your forehead hidden. She just,
My hair done, so yeah. There we go.
there you go. That was one of the all-time funnies. That was a depiction of the times last month. That was good.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't good, but it was good funny.
Yeah, well, my bride too was the same way. So we all suffer together, right? Okay, we'll go another few seconds and then we'll have roll call.
We better go a little more than that.
Pardon?
We better go a little more than that.
Yeah, okay.
Should we do a quorum? Verizon says it's 10 o'clock, but you're still looking for 8 members.
4, 5, we got 5, right?
Got 6.
You got 6, okay. Oh, because I'm one.
You're one.
I count as part of the quorum, okay. I'm counting 5 and I never doubt you, Lisa.
Bill is missing.
Okay.
And Buckland is missing.
Okay, we'll wait a few more minutes for some people to dial in. Morning, Mike. Okay. Okay. everybody as tired of Zoom as I am, I want to see people. In fact, I preached this Sunday, and I got to preach in front of people and not a camera, which was exciting.
It's gotta be.
It was exciting. Mr. Walker, Randy. It is great. It's nice up here. Okay, this is Dr. Dirkson's private suite we're in.
Now, wait a minute.
You have to come up here and see Fred's shed too. It's really nice.
Lots of people are happy to show you that.
That's a bad joke right here, but it's a good joke. Okay, we're still waiting on two. That Derek?
Yeah, there's control now.
Okay, thanks, Derek. I don't like to see my name in so many places.
You're welcome. I will just put up the agenda and I'll just scroll through it as you're talking. So hopefully everybody can follow along.
Okay. Okay.
Harder to see.
Yeah, who's on?
Okay.
I got on that.
We can't approve anything, so.
Not yet.
No, we can do discussion items, but we can't approve it.
Right. Okay. But I can't approve the bills, the minutes. Kim can report. That we can do. Okay, I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer, then we'll take it.
I'm trying to call three of them. The only ones.
There's Kenneth. In the
I had a little trouble logging on. I don't know if anybody else did.
Well, he logged on, but we were upside down. So other than that,
That was kind of funny when it popped up upside down.
yeah, I don't see anybody.
Lisa's texting, so we're trying to reach these folks.
For a while, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Have you got a hold of Bill Carter?
No, I sent it to Rosalie because she's.
Right. Still fishing for corn.
Okay.
Did you get on your email when I sent the link to you? I bet it's Brian.
Brian Jordan.
And lady.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
What we'll do is we will start and we will go through the items that have been put on for discussion, and hopefully everyone who said they would be here would be here. So first of all, welcome and thank you for being here. Thank you for being on time. And I appreciate that. Let's, Kim, you're up.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. I'm sorry.
To vote on.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I just want to do a quick few updates. We do have some upcoming trainings for dyslexia. If that's something that your district is wanting to get out of the way, you do have all year to get that done. Also, a reminder that all of our PD up until August 5th will be virtual, just because we wanted to ensure the safety of everyone. And then the final announcement I have is, I know superintendents have had lots of opportunities for collaboration and discussion, and I'm going to offer one more of those opportunities, probably next week or the first week in July, just to get individuals together, whether you want to come in person or whether attend virtually, but just an opportunity to talk about what you need for this upcoming year and how Southwest Plains can play a role in that. So a huge thank you to all of you for what you're doing, and just know that we're here to help and support professional learning, innovative solutions. That's our job. So reach out anytime. Thank you so much.
Okay, any questions for Kim? Comments or anything? Okay, John, I guess we'll go down to the para salary schedule.
Okay. Last month it was mentioned that you'd like to see something in terms of a salary schedule for paras. So I visited a little bit with our para facilitator, Jesse, and we felt like that what we wanted to do is really simple. So it's easy for everybody to understand how it works. So basically, it's just going to be based on years of service. And that was the concern of not having one, is that there are some folks that have worked for us for a while that are making the same money as someone who's just get started. So I've looked at two different schedules that in the area, and one had you get a 25-cent raise every 5th year of service. But that would be I'm certain that would be in addition to whatever raises were given away to the base salary. Excuse me. And the other one I looked at, you got a 25-cent raise every year. And until you got to the 7th year, I believe it was, and the 7th year, 15 cents a year. And I don't know how far that went. From what I read, I assume that just kept going for many years. So tried to look at it from a standpoint of also of what it cost. So if you wanted to do, say, a 25 cents a year for every year service, and this is kind of tricky to figure because we do have some salaries that are kind of all over the place, but it would probably cost in the $300,000 range from what we paid for this year compared to last year, which would be, I don't know, under 10% new money there. It'd be about the same as the last couple of years. We've given $1 raise to everybody. We put it on the base and everybody got $1 raise. But I would recommend that if we're wanting to reward those that have worked for us for a while, that perhaps we leave the base pay like it is. We're fairly competitive right now, and just concentrate on those. So if you wanted to do a 25-cent raise per year and not ever bottom that out, then we'd have some folks that would get a pretty decent raise, I believe. Now on our teacher salary schedules, that bottoms out after so many years. I think our teacher salary schedule goes as low as 21 years, and that's it. We have we do have one para that's been with us for 24 years. After that, there's several in the right around 20 years. Most of ours are under 10 years. So it's just kind of a matter of how you want to go about it, and how much money you feel like we should spend. So we can discuss that. We can't decide anything today, but I really hadn't intended to make a decision today and save that for your July board.
Any discussion on that? Any comments?
Jeff, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Ron. John, do you give the same raise, percentage of raise for your paras as you do the negotiated with the teacher salaries? Do they get that same raise each year?
Not necessarily, no. We've for a while there. I'm guessing it's pretty close, but we haven't looked at it that way. The last 2 years, we get a $1 raise on the base. The issue that happened was we didn't do it in a way that rewarded the folks who've been working for the last few years. So, you know, someone coming in at $12 an hour, someone who's worked for us a couple of years is only getting $12 also. So that's the impetus behind this. But no, we haven't always tied it to that.
I see. If we were to give if we were to set that up and yeah, you're right. It's difficult now because you have some people that years ago are paid the same as somebody's being hired on right now. But it seems if we were to set up the paras and everybody that's employed to get the same percentage of raise each year that was granted in a negotiated agreement, generally it takes care of that discrepancy between the two, and they stay. Then they generally get paid right. But I guess that's what we do at our school, and we don't have that much issue. But John, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I still think that if we're going to reward those that have been with us for a while, we're going to have to put together a salary schedule. And then after that, you might start looking at it from that standpoint. But in order to, what I think would be more fair, I think we're going to have to have a salary schedule so that there's some folks out there that would be making more money than someone just started. I think, and I haven't had a chance to study it all, but I think that's more phenomenon over the last 5 years than it was previous to that. So there's going to be some folks that are making more than that, and we'll have to go through and make adjustments based on whatever we come up with.
I agree. I think that it's basically a catch up, if that's what it is,
Yeah.
and get people in the right position so that it can work after that.
That's why I would suggest that we concentrate on a salary schedule that improves for those folks that have been working for us, and maybe not even raise the base this year, and then go from there. That would be my recommendation. But
John,
whatever.
I may misunderstood, but you're talking about like doing a quarter for like every 5 years or every year?
If every year is what I was looking at.
If the average year is 10 years, that's a $2.50 raise for every para.
For those that are up that far, yeah. I don't think that's the average. I just said that most of our folks have worked less than 10 years. We have some, like I said, we've got one that's worked for 24 years. We've probably got 15 or so that's up around that 20 to 24 years, in there close.
How many do we have total?
Oh, golly. Typically, it's about 280.
I'd really like to see before we decide anything, something on paper kind of,
Sure.
laid out.
Yeah. We can work on that and have that for you in the July meeting.
John, this is Vincent Mead. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Hey, I just was curious, and I don't want to get into a big discussion, obviously, on the negotiated side with the teachers and everything, but in extreme vague terms, because I don't recall that process in the past and everything, but is there a similar schedule? I mean, we're talking about something with the paras that would be, additional, per year and everything. And I guess I'm going back to maybe, Ron's comment or question or point there about, having a percentage raise. Well, by going to the, I guess, salary schedule structure that you've kind of got as an idea, where you adjust it every year anyway because of additional years of service, and then when we feel like adding to the base and everything, wouldn't that partially accomplish the same thing as far as the percentages maybe lining up close to where the teachers, the negotiated teachers would be?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, anybody, any further discussion, further comments? Because I think if I'm hearing, we want to see something on paper, we want to, we want some direct costs to see what it's going to cost, and then kind of look at our para schedule, see where most of our paras would fall, and then take a look at what we do once the negotiated agreement's intact. Once we come to an agreement with them, does that pretty much sum up what we need to do? Sure.
I will work with Jesse, our para facilitator, and Trina on this.
Okay. Okay, very good. Any other comments on this? 280 paras in the important place they play. I would sure like to have a little more stability if we could. So
Jeff, I guess I really agree with that part of it and everything. And I go back to John's comment about the average, a lot of paras under 10 years. And I know what a critical role they play in our district. And it would sure be nice to find some way to encourage some tenure in that regard.
very good. Very good. Okay, now we do have a quorum. I have been told by Ms. Sneath. And so we will start at the beginning. Lisa, would you do the roll call?
Ashland,
Present.
Buckland,
Present.
Mike,
Here.
Buckley,
Yep.
Mallard, Ingalls,
Present.
Jetmore, Kismet Plains,
Yes, here.
Mead,
Present.
Mineola, Ness City, Spearville.
Here.
Very good. We have a quorum.
You were cutting out, I think, when you said Cimarron, so I didn't say here, but I'm here.
Now I would ask for, are there any additions to the agenda? If not, I would seek approval.
The only thing that we might add is on your list of summer contracts, add Lana Hittle, Hittle.
Okay.
And wouldn't be surprised if we pick up a few more for your July board meeting too. Organizing summer school or extended school year this year has been a little more challenging than normal.
Okay, need an approval for the motion on the agenda with the addition.
Dayton moves that we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Ashland seconds.
Go in and like it
Second by Ashland. Any further discussion? All in favor, say your district. Dodge City.
Dayton.
Ashland.
Cimarron.
Mead.
Spearville.
All opposed. Okay, John, do we have any visitors?
Not that I'm aware of.
I guess, not a visitor, but Trina Wynn is on the call with us. And so welcome Trina here. She's going to be in and out because she's taking care of grandchildren this week before we put her, we help put her nose to the grindstone and make her go back to work. So.
Welcome. Glad to sit in and listen today.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, approval of minutes and bills. As you've been able to look through the bills, look through the financial report, are there any questions or comments regarding them? Hearing none, I would ask for approval of the minutes and the bills.
James Kismet moves.
Have a motion?
Need second.
Have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Dodge City?
Ashland.
Sperryville.
Cimarron.
Say Jetmore.
Jetmore.
No, it's
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill. Very good. Thank you. All opposed? Okay. John, we'll go to the first action item, the summer school contract.
Yeah, these are just our extended school year contracts we do every year. In special education, if a student qualifies, you have to provide extended school year. Most of our extended school years are going to be the last week of July, first week of August, but we have various others going on in different ways too. So these are just contracts so that we can pay them for their time.
Okay. Any questions for John? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the summer contracts. Summer school contracts.
Jetmore move.
Dayton second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Dodge City?
Ashland.
Dayton.
Plains.
Sperryville.
Need.
Very good. We're getting good at this awkward stuff, so I appreciate you. Okay, John, the ESSER funds.
ESSER stands for Elementary and Secondary School Relief Fund, Emergency Relief Funds, and the federal government has given some relief to states for education. There's one group of funds that goes directly to the school districts, and they can use that. They have some different things that they can spend that on, and that's specifically for the school district to use. And then there's another set of funds that's basically a special ed grant. The money still goes to the districts, and then those are to be sent to the co-op the same way they do categorical aid. It's based on our teacher FTE, and they're giving us, we don't get this till July, but they're giving us an extra $565 per FTE of our licensed teachers. So we'll get approximately just under $150,000 altogether. That money is proportioned out to each of the districts, goes to the districts, and then the idea is they send it to us, and then we are to use that in some form or another to provide relief for students because of the school closings. Each district had to send an application for that. And had to put some justification for what they were going to use the money for and so forth. But anyway, basically that money is to come to us just like categorical aid does. If you're not familiar with that, categorical aid is we get a per teacher FTE every year. We don't know until June exactly how much that money is going to be. This year it was $30,010 per full-time equivalent. Plus we get 40% for all of our paras too. So like I said, this particular amount came to about $150,000. We go districts everywhere from $1,300 up to $94,000 that comes into us. But anyway, the idea is that we are to, my understanding is the idea is that we are to pool that same way we do with categorical aid, but specifically to help out with students and the effects of the school closures. So anyway, there's been a lot of confusion about where that money goes and how that money is used and who decides how to use it. My understanding is that it's pooled just like our categorical aid, and we use it for all districts and need to come up with a plan to do that. So anyway, some superintendents may have a little different idea of that if you want to speak up, but that's my understanding of how those funds are supposed to be used.
Hey, John, this is Mike Waters at Cimarron. I don't disagree on the part. I guess where my confusion comes in is that I'm sure that most of the superintendents and others were on the call 2 weeks ago when Dale Dennis said that there were no cuts, and why would anybody, he could not understand why there were any discussions about cuts. That doesn't square with categorical aid cuts as you're talking about in my mind.
Yeah, our categorical aid, they're projecting next year will be lower than what we got this year. Not counting this $565. We got $30,010 this year, and which actually was up a little bit from what they projected. But then next year they're projecting, I believe it's 29.8. I think I don't have that in front of me, but I believe that's the amount. And so, yeah, we don't know from year to year what our categorical aid will be. They just give us an estimate, and sometimes it's lower than they estimate, and sometimes it's higher than they estimate. Last year it was much lower than they estimated.
Right, but didn't Dale say that 2 weeks ago?
Say what?
That he had no idea why anyone would be talking about cuts. It was 2 weeks ago he said that.
Yeah, I think he was talking about districts, school districts. In special education, he did project that our categorical aid will be a little lower next year.
Which would be a cut because we're reducing what we're getting for special ed.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Jamie.
Oh, well, I'm just saying that if we reduce our categorical aid from this year to next year, it's still going to be a cut, whether you want to call it an interlocal cut or a district cut, because we're all paying for it.
Sure, absolutely.
I want to kind of just go back to what you said. Each district had to fill out that application and give justification for those funds. And so when for Ashland, filled out the application, I put specific items that I would use those COVID funds for. And so all the board members know I've talked to John through email back and forth, and he's correct that money could go directly from the school district to the co-op, and then the co-op could identify ways to use that to mediate any items that were related to COVID-19. And so my conversation with John is, who's better to identify what each district should spend those funds on specific to special education, since the district had to fill out the application and justify what they would use those funds for. So I agree with what John says. The funds are kind of like flow through. So when I talked to John an email, I said, well, we can send you our $2,800 and then tell you what we're wanting to do with our SPED and get reimbursed from the co-op. You could let us keep that money. Or if you want us just to send the money to the interlocal, maybe reduce our assessments by that amount. Either way, I guess my biggest take was I felt the local board and the local administration would know better how to use those funds to address the needs that arose during this COVID-19 pandemic. I think, John, is that about sum up what our emails have shared?
Yeah, I think so. And you know, the only thing that I think where we disagree a little bit, I don't disagree that you guys can make can be involved in making those decisions, but it's just, to me, it's just like the flow through money we get in, the categorical aid we get in, and then the co-op is making the decisions about how to use that. Doesn't mean that we're not going to go, okay, Ashland, you wanted to use it this way, you know, maybe we would do that, but I think we at least need to be involved in those conversations. And so, you know, again, it's pooling money for the good of everybody. And so I think that has to be considered before any decision.
The confusion comes into play when each district has to submit an application, and on that application had to list purposes for that money. That's where my biggest confusion, if, you know, I don't disagree, we give it to the interlocal, but if I put specific reasons on our application to use those funds and it goes to the co-op and then it is used in a different manner, then I guess my application would be incorrect. And why did I fill out the application if I'm not using it for the purposes that I stated in that application? So, I mean, it's kind of messy, I understand, but that was, to the board members, that was my biggest item on there, is I specified why or where we would spend those COVID funds. I don't mind giving them to the co-op. I think that's what we're supposed to do. But how do we have that say if what I listed is sent into the state's not how we're going to spend that money?
Yeah, I just think it's something we need to work through. I sent out somewhat of a generic thing to put in that deal, but I think you had filled yours out already by the time I sent that out. So anyway, I think it can be worked through, and you can work through that with Trina when she comes on, and how that's all going to work.
Jamie, I would agree with you. That's a messy, weird process where you have to justify it and then send the money to 613, and that's just weird to me. And so
yeah, I talked to another co-op director, and she just sent a generic statement for all the districts to use in that application. But I think in Jamie's case, and maybe somebody else's, I don't know, he sent that in before I sent that out. And so, you know, again, I think it can be worked through. I don't think Jamie's thinking about his special education kids, so it's not a sticking point there. I just think there just needs to be a little involvement with everybody in making those decisions, since it's a pooled money.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you guys for that. Any other comments? Okay, now we are going to need to go into executive session to talk about negotiations. I'd like the board members and the superintendents in this. Pardon? And so I'd entertain a motion to go our first executive session into the executive session for negotiations. Derek, how long? Derek?
Yes, sir.
How long do you think we'll need? 20 minutes?
Probably, unless there's more questions.
Okay. We'll set executive session up for 20 minutes for the first time. And Trina, you're also welcome, please, to stay in if you're still on. So I need a motion for executive session.
Dayton moves.
I got a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Wherever you're from, say the same sign. Okay, Derek, are you shutting down YouTube?
I'm not shutting down YouTube. YouTube will still show this room as empty, but we will start the second room. So
We'll start what?
We will start the breakout session, so you will all get prompted to join the breakout session, and if you don't in 1 minute, you'll automatically, or you'll have the opportunity to join. So.
Okay. Got it. There's a breakout.
Jeff, do you want the administrators to join as well?
Okay, John, let's go back to the personnel report and walk through this, please.
Okay, we just have some new folks to hire.
Good.
Just ask that you allow us to do that. I might add that the Cimarron long-term sub for gifted, that's a half-time position. Everything else would be full-time.
Okay, entertain a motion to approve the new hires.
Ingalls moves to approve the new hires.
Thank you.
Ashland second.
Having a second by Ashland. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Now, John, retirements.
These are resignations, and one of those was filled just now, and the other one is still open. But yeah, these were all within the time limit, so there's no penalty involved.
Okay. Entertain a motion to approve the resignations and retirement.
Dayton moves.
Ashland second.
I have a second. Thank you. Thank you very much. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Both same sign. John, do you have any miscellaneous business before I?
No, I did not.
John, I want to take the chance that I've shared this publicly and privately with you. I thank you for the service you've given us these last years. You brought stability at a time of real instability, and I will forever be grateful for your leadership during that time. And I wish you well. I hope you're a lot less busy than I am in retirement. And I hope it works really well for you. So on behalf of the board and on behalf of myself, I want to thank you, because I wouldn't like this position on the board or as president without the stability that you brought to the district. So thank you.
Thank you. I know it'll get better even as it goes now.
Well,
I appreciate the support that I've been given.
You bet. I thank you very, very much. Anything else anyone have to bring up? If you ever have any questions, please call me. If you want to call the office, Lisa can give you my number. I'll give it to you. If you have anything to talk about, I'm open to talk about anything, any concern that any board member or superintendent has. I appreciate everyone. Appreciate you being here today. And after saying that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mead moves to adjourn.
Dayton second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
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 And right now, we are planning on our July 21st meeting to be here in Dodge City. And I'm going to make sure that to halfway entice you. I don't know if we can entice you, but to come to the meeting and we'll have lunch afterwards and give you another chance to meet Trina. Okay?
Are you cooking, Jeff?
Pardon?
Are you cooking?
No, I like you guys too much. I would not submit anybody to that. But anyway, once again,